If you're getting annoyed at the slow growth of your dropshipping store, then even making one of these mistakes could seriously be holding you guys back. And how do I know that? Well, it's because I made every single one of them. And when I stopped doing them, things changed a lot. But I need to warn you, some of these things are not going to be easy to hit, but they are the things I just wish someone had shook me and screamed in my face, so I actually would have paid attention to them. So I'm going to hop in my time machine and take you back to the first big mistake. There I am on my computer spending more time trying to figure out why I can't seem to get any sales, blaming it on everything bar myself. And that was my first massive mistake, blaming it on luck. Oh, my products are okay. Silly me. Because the problem wasn't luck, it was me. It's just blaming everything else is way easier than blaming yourself. The thing is, that won't fix anything. Now, when I realized this and took 100% of responsibility for how my store was performing, it instantly made me focus on what really mattered, them. The customer. This realization was the trigger for fixing every other big mistake I was making, starting with adding products willy-nilly. So let's go back to January 2021 to talk about that, shall we? So that's me getting ready to add 117 products in a day. 117. I was just focused on getting products out rather than focus on products that were built to sell through higher quality and angling. Now in some testing phases you kind of have to blast stuff out there and see what sticks. For example, if you're wanting to see what works fast, sure, adding a bunch can be fine. But for the majority of others, you just have to trust the more time and effort you put in your product research, the more your ads will convert and the more profitable your store will be. But when we're in the system, it's so hard for us to sacrifice quality. I found it hard anyways because I was worried that my competition was going to punish me for not posting as many products. Well, in fact, it was the exact opposite. So if you're testing 20 products a week and you're getting really frustrated that your store's not getting sales, why not try dropping it down to 10 a week and doubling up on the research and positioning? This extra effort will create more guaranteed sales, which will in turn give your store the data it really needs. I went from 70 products a week to 20 to 30 a month. My sales went from 5,000 a month to just over 55,000. The thing is, I knew, probably like you do, that quality was the thing to aim for. But for some reason, I just did nothing about pushing it to the next level. And I actually think this is the most common mistake dropshippers make, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. If you're not growing at the rate you want, you have to change something. That might be your strategy, it might be your research methods, but if you're hoping that something eventually takes off, what you're counting on is a lottery win, and that can be painful. Talking of pain, let's go something that almost broke me. This was massive. A few days ago, I launched a new store that took me 2 months to make, with a bunch of products I thought were ready to go. And when I say 2 months, I mean every second of those 2 months. That store just completely consumed me, and I just couldn't sleep. I was just so wired, and I've never ever tried so flipping hard in my life for anything. Now Mel's home and she's asking me how the launch went, and that's the moment she just broke down in tears because I just told her that no sales came in, and she just seen how much it taken out of me and how much, it meant, and it genuinely hurt her seeing me crushed. Not my proudest moment. Yeah. Oi! Stop being such a flipping baby and getting so blimmin' upset about dropshipping, Jake. I'm getting sad about dropshipping. This is supposed to be fun. All this frustration you're feeling, it's just getting in the way of you sitting down with a clear head and just asking yourself why this just didn't do so well, then going and fix it. Oh, it's not fair. You've got to let go of the emotion. Learn to love it when things just don't go right. You will learn 10 times more from your failures than you will when things work out. You should be celebrating right now because that tanking store holds the key to growth. You just gotta spend the time analyzing. Wow, thanks me. I do have one question though. Is Beheza still running stores? Dropshipping is a jigsaw puzzle, and you don't start a puzzle because you want to make yourself angry, you do it because you want to enjoy the challenge. As soon as I started thinking like this, it just helped so much. Now the next mistake I was making was so crucial, and it was that I was spending far too much time trying to learn about dropshipping and hacking it rather than launching with higher quality products and studying how top dropshippers make their stores. Now the bucket's getting very loud and annoying, so I'm just going to stick to traditional B-roll because banging it gave me a headache. The focus should be launching products that people just can't resist buying. And yes, learning about the AI and how to launch on multiple platforms is super, super important, but all these little shiny objects will distract your focus on what's really important. Focus on things like that, it will start to show the data it really wants to see, and I really think you should be out there studying top stores and their products. How can you position yourself there and study them? Think about how they write their description, product images, and how they price their products, the type of things they do to make their stores more interesting. It doesn't even matter if they're in a different niche. If you're a clothes store, for example, and you see a watch store popping off, start researching their descriptions and how they sell their watches, how they make their customers feel as they scroll down the page. If you're a jewellery store, what can you learn from an electronics store in the way they place their images down their page? Why do they choose some benefits of the product rather than others? And the final mistake I was making, well, I was blending in. If you're doing everything the same as everyone else in your group and none of you are growing, you can't expect to just start getting sales and start scaling up. The critical area I think you should start to work on is start to do your research where other store owners dare to go. And then once you've done all these things, you just need to make sure you don't wreck your store like 95% of store owners do. And this video here is going to make sure you stay well clear of that.